Good afternoon, folks, and happy weekend. This is the first of a number of additions to the collection that I'm going to review, and it's a much missed tooling, I guess, of an aircraft that hasn't been released in a number of years, and it's of course the lovely Fairey Swordfish, in this case a Mark 1, representing an aircraft painted in Operation Torch markings from HMS Biter, representing a flight of number 833 Squadron of the Fleet Air Arm, so a Royal Navy aircraft in pretty much American markings. And of course it's part of the War Under the Sun range, so hopefully we might see another addition to the Operation Torch collection at some point. Let's get into it and have a look. So for those unfamiliar with the Swordfish, there is no assembly required on this. It comes with the lovely folding wings with a nice mechanism, and of course the rigging on the aircraft as well. But this aircraft is slightly different in the sense that before we've had torpedo carrying ones, we've had depth charge ones, which I believe are on the all black Night Intruder version, and of course you've had rockets as well on the D-Day release, which I've yet to get. But this one comes with bombs to be fitted, so it's had a slight modification to the tooling, which we'll talk through in a minute, in terms of obviously putting some pinholes on the bottom of the wings. So in terms of this, not much comes with it. You get your stand. It's nicely packaged inside with some foam packaging, which is unusual for Corgi, but of course it's quite a not a volatile, I don't think the word, but quite a, I wouldn't say a strong structure, but a structure that may be vulnerable to some damage. So obviously very similar to the World War I aircraft. So let's get it put together. I'll put it on upside down first so you can have a look at what the difference is underneath, and we'll go from there. So here's what she looks like with the bombs fitted. As you can see, there were 6 separate sets of pinholes, and there's no fit issues there at all. The bomb comes with the rack attached to it with some pins, all painted in a dark green. I'm not convinced that's completely right, but I might be wrong. You'd imagine the rack would be a different colour. There's not a massive amount of detail on the bombs, but as you can see, the aircraft is, no, the fit issues, no issues. I'm going to talk about the paint scheme in a minute, but not a major thing for me, but certainly something that's been picked up on the forums. Of course, like the Lysander, JU-52, Gladiator, and there's another one, and Stuka, it comes, everything's fitted pretty much in terms of the wheels. There's obviously it's a fitted undercarriage, which for those who have got pernickety hands like myself is a blessing in disguise. So some of the detail on the bottom there, obviously you've got the ladder, the crew ladder there on the right, the Arista hook there. I've never noticed these two little braces on the back of the Swordfish before, because it's one of them things you don't really turn upside down very often. But from the bottom, certainly the paint finish is incredibly good. Right, let's get her out and on display. So here she is in all her glory. So I touched upon something around the camouflage. So it's obviously got a very intricate free colour camouflage. But if you look just where the brace is above obviously the front of the canopy, you can see where that dark grey doesn't marry up. So a lot of people have said that that bit was unpainted, and actually it's a slightly different colour as well. In fact, yeah, it should be dark, because if you look behind it, that bit is dark. So that bit has not been painted correctly. And a few people picked up on that. And there's potentially a bit at the back. I'm not convinced that's correct either. But according to the box art, it is. But actually, it's a very, very nice model. We don't have enough Operation Torch stuff. So I know Hobby Master released a Dauntless. We've also had a Wildcat from Dragon in the Operation Torch marks, and also there's a P40F with a similar sort of style insignia. But what makes this very different is it's a Royal Navy aircraft painted in American markings. Obviously there were some Sea Hurricanes as well doing work off of HMS Biter. That might be a potential next release. It'd be lovely to see, because it sort of ties into the War Under the Sun. We've had the the invasion of Sicily with the Spitfire 9 and the ME-109G. It'd be nice to have an Operation Torch contingent as well. It'd sort of tie in nicely. So yeah, really, really nice looking scheme. A little bit of history around this aircraft. So it is obviously attached to Operation Biter, and did some sorties off of the obviously the British residency in Gibraltar, let us say. It did sort of anti-submarine and anti-U-boat work, sort of protecting the fleet which are building up for the invasion over Iran. Hopefully I said that right, Iran, I'm not entirely sure. And of course, amazingly, these were tasked, obviously they've got the bombs, they were tasked with attacking the Vichy French airfields as well, which, if anybody knows a lot of history around the Swordfish, not the most speedy of aircraft, let's say. I mean, it was outdated at the start of the war, let alone towards the end of it. But yeah, a real dangerous mission in terms of that. But there's obviously some commentary around there as well that the HMS Biter lost 3 of these aircraft just trying to land on the carrier in rough seas as well. So it wasn't the smoothest of operations, of course. But again, an aircraft that's been missing from the collection for quite a while, actually. And I can't even think, the last release, was it the rocket firing D-Day one? Potentially, the one that I don't have. And that was over 12 years ago. So great to see it back. And here she is on her stand. Nice, crisp fit. No issues in terms of being vulnerable on the stand. Just give you a bit of an underview there of what it looks like, all bombed up. Of course, the propeller spins. In terms of other detail, you've got obviously the three key members in there. The pilot, the nav, and the rear gunner who's standing. So to my knowledge, there was no seats in the back of the Swordfish. You had to stand, and I think the Royal Navy historic flight, or sorry, the Fly Navy one as it is now, have just fitted seats in order to carry fee-paying passengers, which is really, really good. So in terms of other detail on there, we've got obviously the Royal Navy insignia and the serial on the back there indicating V4448, and of course some rigging on the rear tail as well for the rudder. Yeah, really, really good release from Corgi. Great to see it back in the range. Hopefully we'll get to see them do the schemes on the new Flying Navy ones, and of course the third one, which is I believe at White Waltham, being restored as well. Whether that will fit into Flying Navy, I'm not entirely sure, but the fact we could have 3 flying Swordfishes back on the scene by next summer is a fantastic achievement by all concerned. So really looking forward to it. And of course the old Bristol Pegasus at the front is known to be problematic, but hopefully they've got to the bottom of that issue now. So in terms of other bits I've got reviewing, I've got the C-47 Night Fight, which I'll look to get out shortly. The new Bristol Beaufighter with the green and grey camo. Again, slightly controversial in some respects there, but a lovely looking aircraft. I've got a Dragon Ju-87 Stuka and a Sky Guidance P-38, plus a number of other things which are en route. I've also ordered today a backdrop and a new base from Coastal Kits. I don't know if I'll tag them in the video after this as well. Please check them out. Fantastic little business that do some great aircraft displays for your models to take pictures and stuff on, which will hopefully make the videos a little bit more interesting for you rather than my mum's kitchen in the background as I'm no longer at home. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it. I'll get a pictorial version up as well, and I'll speak to you soon.